Update, ex reaching out after 10 years and I'm at a loss for what to answer with. Original post, throwaway account because this needs to stay a secret for now. Call me Anthony, 32 years old. Have been with my current girlfriend, call her Michelle, 33 years old, for 4 years. No plans of marriage, and one time she cheated on me. Drunk, mistake, blah, blah, blah. Whatever, I forgave her. We are pretty much best friends that do everything together and live together. Other than the one instance of cheating, we have had no major issues and live a pretty good life. She does not want marriage or kids. I do, though. It's a hard no for her. Recently, my ex, call her Nicole, 32 years old, contacted me over a promise that we made back when we broke up. When and if we were both not married by 32, we would find a way to be together. Some backstory on her and I. Childhood friends, started dating in middle school, dated through high school. She was accepted to her dream college, and so was I, on the opposite ends of the country. Virginia Tech for her, and Stanford for me. We did the long term for 2 years until deciding to let each other live our lives and be connected to maybe someone closer if it was going to happen. This was a mutual decision, and we broke up contact at that point so that we could move on. Her parents still talk to me on occasion. They live 4 hours away. Same with the sister, 20 minutes away, and her grandparents 2 hours away, but never about her per my request. So flash forward, I have been getting calls from a weird number once every month since September and just didn't answer because I don't answer numbers I don't know. Figured if it was important, they would leave a message. Ex's sister comes by and says, "Hey, this is from Nicole. She said that you can read it and respond if you want, and if not, then she will understand soon enough." For the life of me, I had forgotten our weird promise, but the letter goes as this. "Hey Anthony, I know neither of us have been in contact in the last 10 years, but I'm asking if you still remember the promise that we made. I have no right to ask of it, and if you've moved on, then it's okay, as I want you to be happy. First and foremost, I want you to know that this isn't a desperation attempt because I'm lonely. My sister was quite keen on giving that as the probable reason as to why I've been feeling this way and why I'm bringing up that old promise. This is more along the lines of, I just can't imagine my life with anyone else. I, yes, have been on many dates and had one relationship that lasted over a year, but there was always this lack of feeling in me that, well, in all honesty, they weren't you. You're the guy I knew instantly when we were young that I would want to be with forever. The guy who made me smile, that I could wake up next to and was genuinely happy knowing that we were together. In my mind, you, Anthony, have been my only want and desire. That day we decided to try and move on because of the distance. I won't lie, it took me about a year to realize how stupid that was. It was mutual, but my feelings are that I pushed you towards it. I honestly feel like the first suggestion of giving time to each other to finish school and not have it try and coordinate our lives was the stupidest mistake that I have ever done. Anthony, you are my soulmate, my love, my life, and that is why what comes next I say with all fear aside. I am ready to leave everything and find a new job to move back to Candyland and be with you. I'm fully prepared to do this if you even think that there can be a chance for us again. I love you. I love you, and nobody else will ever take the place that you have in my heart. I talked to my parents and friends, and they all are in full support of this. Also, thank you so much for being there for my parents when they needed help moving and working on Dad's bike and truck. I had no idea until a few days ago. I will be fully committed to you, being yours, and I want to be part of your life and want you to be in mine forever, growing old, seeing the world change, the lives that we live together as one. And most importantly, I just want us to be happy. I've wasted enough time holding back what I've wanted to say for the last few years. Anthony, I love you so much. I want to live my life with you. I'm prepared to leave it all for you. And lastly, my love, my childhood friend, my soulmate, I'm more than prepared to be your wife and be the mother to our children. If I don't hear back by the end of the month, I will assume that you've moved on for the better and will do my best not to reach out again. If you decide otherwise, I have left my number and email. Love, insert nickname from childhood, Nicole. To be honest, I don't know if I should respond or what I should do. She left her number, one that has been calling me, and her email. I'm conflicted a lot, really. I literally cried when I read the letter, and it brought back a lot of emotions that I didn't think were still there. Since Michelle, Nicole, and I all went to the same high school, they both know each other, and I'm honestly afraid Michelle will tell me to go be with her without a second thought. If I told her about Nicole reaching out, only just knowing how she is as a person. We have been debating it since getting the letter yesterday, and since I always see good advice here, I thought to ask the Reddit family. And now for the comments before reading the update. I feel like I'm watching a Lifetime movie except with a male protagonist. Bear in mind, though, she may not be the same person she was 10 years ago. You guys may not be as compatible as before. I have no advice, but I want an update, please. True, but separate the letter and his current relationship for a minute. The current relationship is a dead end. She's already cheated, and long-term she adamantly doesn't want what OP wants. There's no reason for them to even be together. The letter is secondary. I don't think either relationship sounds great, to be honest. Current girlfriend wants totally opposite things than you. Ex-girlfriend trying desperately to get back into your life, and involving her family as well, hasn't been able to maintain any relationship over a year during the past 12, and while it's normal to still have those warm feelings for and possibly love your first love, her level of dedication at this moment is almost alarming. When is the last time that you saw or spoke to her? Yet she wants to relocate for you right now? While the current relationship seems doomed, I wouldn't end it specifically for the ex. And I also wouldn't rush into anything if you do end it. If she's also 32, both she and the family could be panicking that she's aging out of her childbearing years and has no steady long-term prospects. Also, if you knew her family well, wouldn't they all know that you've had a girlfriend for 4 years? Seems very suspect that they wouldn't respect that relationship. Edit 1. Lots of great advice. Tomorrow Michelle and I are going on a hike, so I'm going to bring up what I want and need out of a relationship to be happy. We'll update tomorrow, all. Edit 2. 1:15 p.m. 6:19. I talked to my current girlfriend first. We had a big talk, and that was the last 6 hours we were hiking about what we were both wanting in the future. She made it clear that kids and adoption are out of her plan and suggested that we should just be friends if that's what I truly want in the future. I told her that I would still be friends with her no matter what, since all the things that we do together, and she laughed and said, no kids, and I keep my best friend who loves to do the same things I do? Cha-ching! It's all good. Rather, we both be happy in the long run, don't feel too bad or think this is a mistake. We then talked about the letter from my ex, and she pretty much said that Nicole sounds crazy. But if it's something that I want to pursue because of the history that we had, then she has no ill feelings of me going that route. Also said it doesn't work out, then I can always go back to plan, no kids, and freedom. Thanked me for bringing it up, then in her typical fashion joked about me going to be blue-balled for a while. Rest of the hike was pretty much us talking like we normally do, then debating lunch. When we got back to the trailhead, I asked if she wanted any time alone or not, and she said no, and that she eventually thought this would happen as we got older. Asked me if we could still do the friend stuff until something else happens in our lives, and I told her yes, of course. She said no harm in that then, and that was that. We're at the mall for her girls' lunch, and I'm sitting at the table like a weirdo, yeah, until I call up the ex and see what she is like, that is it for now. Now for the update. Good evening, Redditors. A while back, 2019, I posted here in the relationship advice about an ex that reached out after a decade. Recently, I was messaged by a few different people asking for an update. Whether you three had been refreshing the page since then, or it's just randomly showed up in your searches, I wanted to post up the conclusion of what happened, what is still happening, and the journey since the post was made. After Michelle and I ended our relationship, kinda nothing changed aside from living together and sex, Nicole and I started to make plans for when she came out here for her grandma's birthday. Talking on the phone a lot, emails back and forth. We decided on waiting to video chat or send pics to another since it wasn't too far off when she would be visiting, and we thought it would be a good surprise. The initial hello was awkward as hell. When she got out of the terminal, I recognized her right off the bat and was amazed that she pretty much looked exactly the same as when I last remembered. I had seen pictures at her sisters and parents, but I was floored at how much she hadn't changed in the last 10 years. Getting into the car, we kind of just stared at one another for a minute, and she started off with, "Well, if you don't drive anywhere, people are going to start honking, smart guy." That started our week-long catching-up journey. We first went to go get some food and decided on pizza. Oh yeah. And it was pretty easy going from that moment on. We shared stories of what life has been like, showed off scars, looked at each other's trips and vacations, shared each other's hobbies. She asked about her old group of friends who's still around, etc. That small first meeting changed everything in life for us both. I won't go into specifics or minor details on the following dates and days, but to say that week went by in a heartbeat is an understatement. When it was time for Grandma's birthday, it was like old times again. The family was easy to be around, and we all joked and laughed, and didn't have much as far as any problems throughout the week. Our music taste was the only problem, lots of fighting over the radio dial, ha ha ha. The goodbye felt painful, our week of vacation was over, and it was time to get back to our lives half a country apart. Flash forward a few weeks, and we decided that I'd go visit her this time around. Phone conversations were going great, and airfare was cheap enough. Texted before I got on the plane and told her my arrival time landed, and felt like I was ghosted. Not there to pick me up, wasn't answering the phone, didn't respond to my text. Facebook said last online 4 hours ago. I started to feel like maybe this was some kind of joke on my behalf and was worried. About 45 minutes go by and I'm walking towards a hotel when the phone rings, and I find out that she was so antsy about me coming that she spent the night awake, and upon hearing I was on the way, promptly passed out hard. By the time she got to me, I was a sweaty mess, but was apologetic all the way to her place, and following 2 days. We hung out the entire time, pretty much doing what we couldn't do where I live. Days at the beach, swimming, me getting in a small amount of rocket hounding, while she looked for critters, and eating all the Cajun food that I could ever hope for. In a nutshell, it went great, and other than the constant bald jokes, I had shaved my head, it was all fun. Meeting her friends, her dog, hanging out and doing things we each love was just tranquil in every possible way. When it came time to say goodbye, she asked if I had any vacation time left, and if I did, she could come back for longer, and of course I said yes. 4 months go by and back and forth traveling on the weekends, usually on the phone, and by that point, I feel like it's time. I ask her if she wants to move in with me. Immediately she said yes, and we made our last vacation week into a road trip to bring her up to where I live. Our dogs got along, and she was able to transfer to a new department pretty close to where we lived. It was a dream coming true, and it went by so fast that honestly it feels like it was yesterday. She actually asked me to marry her a few months later, and of course I said yes. She had glow-in-the-dark rocks set up to ask me in our yard when we went up to the deck to watch the stars. I feel like I'm going on a rant here. So much for not every detail, right? Ha ha ha. Well, it's been close to a couple years now since everything started. We have a beautiful daughter together, Ariana, adopted. We had issues. She wouldn't be able to give birth. Our dogs are jerks and doofuses. Michelle and Nicole have met, and we are all friends again. They actually hang out a lot together. She has moved on, and we still do a lot of her favorite hobbies together as a group or separately. With COVID and us being at home nonstop together, it's been just fine. Were things perfect? No, but nothing ever is. We had our issues in the beginning and still squabble over stupid things at times. To everyone that was part of the initial journey, I hope you've enjoyed this follow-up. This was the best decision, and my only regret is that we didn't reconcile our relationship earlier. This has went by in a flash, and honestly, I can't wait to see what the future holds for us. Each day is refreshing, and a smile rarely leaves my face. I get to spend my life with not only my first love and childhood friend, but also with great friends and family that are always there for us both. Story 2. Am I the a-hole for asking my wife to please stop flashing her breasts to people? Advice needed. My 32 male, wife 30 female have been together for 11 years, married for just over 5 years. Ever since I met her in college, she has been insecure about her appearance, specifically her body. When we got our first jobs out of college and became financially stable, she approached me and asked me how I felt about her getting a boob job. To be honest, I wasn't a huge fan of the idea. I told her I loved her how she is and that I don't think she needed one. Also, just personal preference, I've never really liked fake boobs. I just think they look oddly perky and not natural, and I've dated women in the past with varying chest size and would prefer a woman with small or no tits compared to someone with fake boobs. They always look bolted on to me. But knowing how much it has bothered her, I told her I would support her decision either way. After thinking about it for a while, she approached me again to say that if I was still serious with my answer, that I would support her either way, that she was going to proceed with the operation. It has been something that has affected her self-esteem for a long time. I wasn't sure how to feel about it at first. I thought about talking her out of it, but wanted to stand by my original answer and supported her either way. In 2021, after COVID settled down and elective procedures were taking place again, she went and got a boob job. I will say her surgeon was fantastic and things ended up looking very good considering my prior opinion. The problem that I've had is ever since she's gotten her boob job, it's definitely emboldened her to put them on display, so to speak. She went from wearing baggy and unrevealing clothing to very tight and revealing shirts with a lot of cleavage. I had dated bigger-chested women in the past, so I was pretty used to it, just threw me off in the beginning. One thing that I'm not adjusting well to is her over-willingness to show people her bare breasts. It's no secret to anyone that has known her for a long time that she got a boob job. At first it was mostly her showing off to her girlfriends, which was still weird to me, but didn't really come across as a boundary for me. However, it's almost as if more and more she's shown them off and gotten validation, and the more and more enabled she is continued in doing so. The first time it crossed a boundary for me is when we were at a friend's house for dinner and drinks, and she had a little too much to drink and showed her girlfriend her breasts while her girlfriend's husband was standing right there. We fought in the car about it on the way home. The next morning I tried to set boundaries with her, but she dismissed it and shook it off like I was being controlling. Most recently, we were at a friend's house with many other mutual friends watching a football game, and she got drunk again. Upon hearing the team scoring in a walk-off fashion, she lifted her shirt and flashed her breasts at the entire party while jumping up and down in celebration. She's not even a football fan and hardly understands who to cheer for. To me, it was like an excuse just to show off her breasts to everyone, without their consent, might I add. I was livid, and again we fought about it. She got defensive and turned it around on me, saying that for once in her life she's happy with how she looks, and she just wants to feel good about herself. I again tried expressing my boundaries, but she completely dismissed them. We have been short with each other for a week since that's happened. It may sound ridiculous, but if she can't respect my feelings and my boundaries, this could be grounds for divorce. I know that might sound dramatic, but I've expressed I'm not okay with it, and she dismisses me constantly. Am I the a-hole for insisting that my wife stop showing her breasts off? Now for the comments. Not the a-hole. She is probably making everyone uncomfortable. It's odd behavior that's not within social norms regardless of how she got her breasts, especially flashing during a game. Right, and her assuming people would want to see them is bold of her, and she is not only crossing husband's boundaries but also those of the friends. She needs to understand that people don't want to see that. I guess she has the delusion that everyone likes and wants to see her breasts. She is not allowed to flash everyone and make others uncomfortable just because she wants to feel good about herself. She can show whoever wants to see when she is single, because that is indeed a solid reason for divorce. She seems self-obsessed, like husband's validation didn't do anything for her, and it's all about what she feels about her breasts. Then she seeks validation from external sources in a toxic manner. She has some soul searching to do. However, there's a strong chance if someone told her honestly, she'd check a spaz and react very badly. She definitely needs therapy. Whatever self-loathing occurred prior to the surgery had left significant emotional scars. The fact that she's heavily drinking, sexualizing every encounter, and exposing herself to all and sundry is honestly horrifying. OP, assuming you love your wife, I think you need to take a different tact. This is making you uncomfortable, certainly, but your wife's behavior is really concerning. As in, sit her down and dig into what kind of pain she's covering up. Definitely suggest therapy. Listen, if she pushes back, then you can let her know that you're unable to follow her down this path of self-destruction. You can make the steps to untangle your marriage now while things are only in the beginning of tense, instead of in a year from now when you loathe her. I'm really sorry this is tough. Good luck. Story 3. I, a man, took my niece to an event for girls and women, which apparently pissed a lot of people off. Am I the a-hole? Trying to decide if and how to respond to this situation and wanted some outside perspective to mull over. I'm a 25-year-old man. I have 2 sisters and 6 female cousins, all younger than me. All that to say that I'm used to being around girls and young women of all ages. I know how to treat them respectfully as equals and to be a protective cousin or brother when needed. My wife's sister Rachel, late 20s, is having some difficulty and the family is trying to help, including by supporting her daughter, Ellie, 7. My in-laws had Ellie over for dinner while Rachel was at home catching up on some household stuff, and my wife and I were there too. Ellie kept talking about a tea party Rachel was going to take her to the next day. She was very excited about it, like it's all that she's talked about, haha. The next day, Rachel reached out to the family chat asking if someone could take Ellie because she was feeling sick. Everyone was working except me, so I asked for the information, picked up Ellie, and took her. The event flyer on the door said it was for girls and their moms, grandmas, aunts, godmothers, etc. When I got there, I explained I was standing in for her mother, and I asked if I could stay and participate with Ellie. They said yes, but I know I was side-eyed the whole time. Whatever, I was there so Ellie could have fun. We drank tea and colored pictures and did a few other activities. At the end, each girl got to take a picture with their adult person who was supposed to be posted on their social media later on, so I took a picture with Ellie. The next day, I went on to the group page, had to request access to get the picture sent to Rachel. It wasn't posted with the others. I couldn't figure out who to message, so I left a comment that said, "Can I please get the picture of me and my niece? Thanks." Didn't hear anything back, so I decided to check the group again, only to find a post by one of the participants stating how uncomfortable they were with a man at the event. This was followed by comments such as, "Probably thought he could sneak into the girls' room or something. Was probably just there to mansplain anything he could." The one that made me so mad and I could only laugh was, "Typical to insert penis where it was not invited." Other comments were expressing anger that I wasn't asked to leave, with one person even saying the police should have been called. The thread was eventually locked and deleted. I haven't looked since. I do not know any of these people. I spoke to maybe one person there, and there were more comments than there were even people in attendance. I've only told my wife about this so far because I'm dumbfounded. But am I the a-hole for simply taking my niece to an event? Yes, it was for women, but was the better alternative really to not let her participate in something she was excited for, literally driving her to it? I do plan to tell Rachel that I don't think Ellie should go back there. I don't trust them to not try to ask her if she's safe or something else out of line. Rachel is not part of the group that hosted it. I think she learned of the event somewhere else. Am I the a-hole? That's all for today, and if you're enjoying this story, please like the video and share your thoughts in the comments section down below. Thank you.